Welcome to the Consciously Inspired Minds podcast, where we ditch the default and live life by design. I'm your host, Brandy White, personal growth enthusiast, entrepreneur, and lifestyle coach. I host conversations with creators, entrepreneurs, healers, and educators committed to living a life of truth, intention, and connection. Understanding how to evoke their higher nature, our guests take us on a journey of what it means to embody a life of conscious inspiration, joy, impact, and service. Get ready to be inspired. Hello, welcome to Consciously Inspired Minds. I have a really fun episode for you today. I have Rebecca Combs on, and Rebecca is the owner of Robeks. And I just want to take a moment to welcome Rebecca. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. It's a nice hot day today.
Yeah, I know. The weather's been incredible this past week in the 90s, so just trying to stay cool. It's so good to have you here, Rebecca. I'll get into Rebecca's intro here in just a moment, but I think it's just a really important note to make that Rebecca, as I mentioned, is the owner of Robeks, and you can find smoothies and toasts and superfoods at Robeks. I went in with my kids, and it was just, when I walked into her space, it was such a nurturing, kind, gentle environment where I was getting such good food and a good experience, and I had to have her on the podcast. So I know she's a little bit nervous today, but that's okay. As I told her, I'm always nervous before I start these interviews. So with that said, I'm going to kick off with just a little bit more about Rebecca. So Rebecca is a Christian wife and mom to 5 beautiful children. Her family's lived in Mason, Ohio, which is where we're located and her business is located, for the past 15 years. And 3 of her kids are Mason graduates. She grew up spending her summers in Oklahoma with her dad and the school year with her mom in Indiana before moving to Ohio. She attended Marymount High School. I feel like all of us Ohioans always say where we went to high school, so that was appropriate. Marymount High School, and then University of Cincinnati for her associate's degree in business. And most of her career life has been spent as an assistant, bookkeeper, and lastly, human resource manager. And she says each of these roles have prepared her for the business owner she is today. And her main focus remains that relationships are above everything else, and the legacy we leave is the way we are remembered. So, Rebecca, thanks again for being here. I always, as you know, like to kick off with a little bit about your childhood, just to get us grounded in how that may have impacted where you are today. If you could tell us just a little bit about that.
Okay. So I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and my family is all there. My mom came to Ohio when I was about 3 after divorcing my dad, and she taught at Southern Ohio College. And I've been here for school years ever since. So I did go back to live in Oklahoma for a few years as a teenager with my dad, which was, I'm very glad that I got to spend that time with him. But, you know, that's my stomping grounds. I think that wherever we spend as kids, wherever we spend our summer is where our real stomping ground are. We have friends from school and we do the daily things, but summertime is really where our memories, I think, are made. And I have a love of nature that has been deeply rooted within me from spending time with my dad out at a pond or driving around listening to the scissortail. So it's home to me there. I love the trees there and the cattle and the sunset. But I've been in Ohio for a long time. Also lived in Lawrenceburg. I went to school there in elementary school before moving up here to Ohio. And I've lived in Mason with my husband for 15 years. And we've raised our children here. We're a blended family. So we each of us have 2 children and we have a child together. And We love our community, and it's a great place to raise our kids and try to instill some of those outdoorsy things here too. It's different.
Right.
Ohio has, it's different,
Yes, yes.
There's
You have
still,
to find those special places.
there's still fun
Yeah,
places. So,
yeah.
yeah. So my dad was paraplegic. So I spent a lot of time riding on the back of his wheelchair, and he would take me out to Lake Ulaga, and it would be so hot. The summers in Oklahoma are hot. He would take me to the lake, and I would swim. I had a Scooby Doo raft with a little clear window in it. I could see down in the water. I loved it. And I would always beg my dad. I would say, "Come swim with me, Dad. Yeah, get in." And, he's a paraplegic, so he had the use of his arms and, his neck. Every once in a while, he would get his chair down that boat ramp and float out on his chair cushion with me in the water.
Oh,
And,
wow.
the trust that must have taken. Can you imagine having no bodily control and just allowing yourself to be out there in the water? He was
That's
so
a lot of
brave.
trust right there.
It was
Yeah.
very cool. And when you're a kid, you don't really think about how deep that is, that your
Right.
parents going the extra mile after mile for you. But as an adult, I really appreciate that and try to go those extra steps with my kids as often as
Mhm.
possible.
And were you the only child growing up?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how did your dad become a paraplegic?
He was in a car accident. One man passed and the other was also deeply injured. And he was supposed to pass right away, but he didn't.
Your
He
dad was
yeah.
supposed to pass?
Yeah.
Wow. How old was he when the accident happened?
I think that he was about 26.
Wow.
He's actually not my biological dad, but he's on my, birth certificate, and he raised me. Paraplegic people can't really have kids, but that makes it even more special. The time that he spent with me, I had his last name, and he raised me like I was his own, and so very grateful for that. He passed in 2019, and he would battle infection because of the lack of circulation and being in the chair. And when somebody gets a sore from the exposure to their skin, that's actually what ended up taking him out, was a terrible infection of a bed sore. So,
Wow. As I was going through some of the things you had sent over to me before the interview, what really came through as part of your value system was the importance of relationships for you and really connecting with the people that you love. How would you say your relationship with your dad led you into this value of relationships? Would you say that was really a turning point in just your dynamic with him and how he went the extra mile for you and how you want to continue to show up for the people that you love and for your family? Would you make that correlation there?
oh yeah, we would go places where we were outside of our tiny little town. We would go out to Tulsa or Oklahoma City or even Claremore. And I was little, so people would they would look at the wheelchair. People just always look at something that's different, and I would
They're
get
curious.
so
Yeah.
mad. I would be like, "Why do they have to stare?" And my dad would always say, "It's just different. It's okay for them to look. I'm okay with it. It's okay." He was always giving me peace over it, and he was always just really kind, and he had a silly aspect to his personality. He would have fun with people. And he had so many, like, extremely close relationships with people. We would drive around to visit his friends, and he would get his chair out and park under a shade tree, and he would just talk with his friends while I played on the farms and messed with the watermelons. And out there we have scorpions all over the place. So just a lot of time spent watching my dad have these long, fun, enjoyable afternoons with his friends. And he always made a point to spend time with people, which it's so hard to do that anymore. Sure, we can go to this function and that function. We can volunteer here or go get a beer or meet friends for dinner. Completely different. He would drive to my grandmother's house and they would just sit in the car. My grandma would come out. She would sit in the car with him. He always drove a Thunderbird because they had the big long doors so he could pull his wheelchair in behind the seat.
Got it.
He did everything on his own. Yeah, just playing in the red dirt and watching my dad have those long afternoons with his friends was always wonderful.
What kind of feelings would you associate with those moments, you think?
Oh, I would say...
How did it make you feel?
Oh, definitely warm.
Mm-hmm. What is your style of authentically connecting with other people? With people you love, with customers coming into Robeks? What does that mean to you? What does that look like for you?
Well, I see a lot of people now, they come in constantly and sometimes people are in a really big hurry and you can tell. But behind every single person that comes in, there's a whole story. They have a life and a journey, and sometimes they really want to talk, and sometimes they just want to get their stuff and go. And fine too. But being kind and just giving a little outreach of goodness to every single person that we meet is what our company is all about. We want people to feel better on every level for coming to Robeks. So emotionally, you're coming in, you're being greeted by somebody that actually cares how your day is going and what we can do to make you feel better. And having actual fruits and vegetables in their diet from these incredible smoothies or pressed juices. And so for the physical aspect of that, I have so many new relationships now. It's been a blessing to me to have these people come in. And this woman, it's coming to my mind, a woman who came in who she seemed a little sad, so I handed her smoothie and I wasn't really expecting a lot from her. She was kind of stoic. She said, "This is my birthday." And she said, it's my first birthday. And she said 40 years without her husband. So she came in for her free birthday smoothie. Robeks, you sign up for the app, you get a free birthday smoothie. So she came in for her free birthday smoothie and she was a little sad that she was there without her husband. And so we got to talk a little bit about that and it made her feel, I think, a little better. But we love to talk about the people that we don't have anymore. That's their memory. It lives in us and we only get to talk about it on certain occasions and something that we hold inside as a loss maybe or a fulfillment. These people that are in our lives fill us in all different ways and it's there, but it's deep inside. And when we have an opportunity to speak about that person, it's beautiful to watch the love show on faces of my customers and friends, my kids. So just waiting sometimes, just giving a nice greeting and then just waiting sometimes just a few seconds to see what this person is feeling like and then allowing them the time to open up. And we have that space at Robeks. I've heard all sorts of stories. I've heard celebrations. We have Robeks babies, mommies who have been coming in since pregnancy, who had to have a restricted diet because this, that, or the other with their health. And when they bring their little babies back in,
oh
it's
my
so cool.
gosh.
They have these cute little Robeks.
That's amazing. Yeah, a Rebec baby. You should do something with that, Rebecca. You need to do a spin-off of something, some kind of promotion or something like that is coming to mind for some reason. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, going back to the point I made when I walked in, that's exactly how I felt. I felt like, and it was busy in there and you had totally taken the time to talk to me about your products and just hearing me and how excited I was for you to be there. And I, again, just felt this authenticity of your excitement to be there as well. And so I'm really curious to know. I'm excited for this interview today because there's so many burning questions that I have for you as we continue to get to know one another. And I know we talked a little bit at the Health and Wellness Expo. Rebecca was so generous to give her time, effort, energy, and product at this Health and Wellness Expo in our local community. And we were chatting there a little bit about what got you started with Robeks and what inspired you. I'd love for you to take our listeners through how you even came across Robeks, your passion behind the scene of health and wellness and what that means to you, and the impact that you intend to make behind Robeks.
My husband and I have actually been involved in real estate. He's a realtor. He's been a realtor since 2005 and have a couple of rental properties, nothing major. We would rehab a house from time to time when we more of like a hobby because it's something that both of us enjoy doing. We're both very mechanically minded. Both of us can do pretty much anything necessary in a house.
My husband's the same way, and it's amazing.
It is. It saves a lot with having to hire a handyman. It's hard on your body working, swinging a hammer. I'm 46, my husband's 46. So we started looking probably about 10 years ago for a franchise. We knew that we wanted something, we knew we wanted a franchise because we were super busy and we wanted structure. So coming up with your own product and plan and all that, that's great for folks who have that capacity. But my husband and I we just needed the structure. We knew it. So we started looking about 10 years ago and we've looked at all sorts of things and nothing fit. We wanted to believe and be able to stand behind whatever it was that we were doing. So we ended up taking a trip out to the Grand Canyon for our 10th wedding anniversary. And I am the smoothie queen. I use a product called AIM, Pro Peas, this wonderful stuff, calcium, ready beets, carrots. It's all this wonderful product. And throughout pregnancies and things like that, those definitely my diet. If I know that I'm trying to get fit and I want to treat my body a little better, I always go the smoothie route. Yeah.
There's something so easy about it and nourishing and delicious. And it almost feels like a treat all at the same time.
Yes. It's clean eating. I don't have to dirty every single thing in the kitchen.
Right. Exactly. Because me in the kitchen, it has to be simple. It just has to be. So it's a perfect solution. Do you mind if I pause you just for a moment? Because I'm really curious. Have you always had this entrepreneurial mindset? And what sort of ignited the interest to even think about having a franchise?
I would say yes. My husband and I are both really hard workers and we are survivalists. We've gone through our childhood and teen years. My husband was a Marine. We're survivors. We go through each day, surviving the day to get to the next. And that works well with a hardworking personality, So I think that we're also problem solvers. Both of us are problem solvers. And that type of personality really lends to entrepreneurial activity. And Jason he's always been that way. And I would say I have probably created a million different companies in my mind and a million different products in my mind and just problem solving.
So it sounds like you really live in a solution-based mindset where you see a potential and where you see a problem, you see opportunity. It sounds like it really just comes through you with all of these ideas and the creative energy that you experience through finding that solution.
Yes. Before we discovered Robeks in Arizona, my husband was really pushing for me to open a cheesecake store. I make cheesecakes. They're incredible. My favorite cheesecake has been a pecan pie topping on a cheesecake, white raspberry chocolate, white chocolate raspberry cheesecakes. They're all wonderful. But I knew that I couldn't be around all that sugar, the smell of the sugar all day long, every day. I couldn't run a bakery. I just couldn't personally do it. I don't eat
Okay.
the cheesecakes. I just make them. And just to have a love for food. Spent a lot of time in the kitchen with 5 kids, and I love to create in the kitchen. So, yeah, we went to Arizona and we stayed in this beautiful little boutique hotel in Prescott, Arizona. And I Googled smoothies near me, and this beautiful logo of a hummingbird popped up. And I just thought for sure that Robeks was a little mom and pop shop. I hadn't ever heard of it before. And so we drove there. While we were in the waiting area in the lobby there, trying to figure out what we were going to order because it's a huge menu. All these people were coming in and they were so excited that we had never heard of Robeks before. They're all over the place out there. So they were like, "Oh, you're going to love it here. It's so great. Everything is so good. Just, you can't go wrong. Just order whatever. It's great." So my husband got the 800-pound gorilla, and we had a friend with us, and he got the 800-pound gorilla.
And that's a smoothie,
The
yes.
800-pound gorilla is a smoothie. It has 40 grams of whey protein plus peanut butter. So I think it's around 56 grams of protein. And it kind of tastes like a caramel peanut butter milkshake, which is
Yum.
incredible for muscle recovery and for people who are trying to build their protein intake. I have some people who are fighting illnesses and they need protein in their diet. And so that 800-pound gorilla is great for a peanut butter lover. There's also the Muscle Max, which has no peanut butter. So I got the everything avocado toast and the raspberry romance. And we spent the day.
I would have gotten those same things.
The raspberry romance is also
Yes.
a smoothie. It's
Yes.
so good. My daughter's best friend says that she would swim in it if she could.
Yes, my kids love that one too because we came in when I bring my girls to your place, it's like a treat. They're like, "Can we go to Robeks today?" I'm like, "Sure." So we go in and we had gotten samples and they were like, "This is so delicious." So it's always their go-to. Yeah.
It's so good. Saw a lot of that one. So we're going to the Grand Canyon. I was just like absolutely terrified of heights. I love to push myself to do the things that scare me. And it's just a little adrenaline rush, I guess. But I was like, where are you going to go to the bathroom? So
Right.
I thought before I fall
Things
off
you don't think about.
cliff and into a deep canyon, never to be seen again, I'm going to have a great smoothie. So glad that was my choice. And it took us like 2 years from that point to open our doors. We took our time. We had some issues. We had a family member who was ill and we were taking care of him in our home. And he actually passed right before we opened. And that was my husband's dad. He passed away in December.
Okay.
So we opened the day after Christmas, and
Oh, wow.
in the middle of a blizzard, we opened. Great.
I almost love that because so many folks could tell themselves in that moment, no, why would we open the day after Christmas, right? There's so many stories you could tell yourself around why that would not be successful for you.
Yeah.
But to lean in and just move forward and go, right? Just go.
Yeah. We had to keep pushing at that point. We had worked so hard to get those doors opened, and we did. We started training on December 19th and had, I think, 15 kids training. That was so much fun. Actually, while that was happening, I was sitting in my office and I had some help at that point. Robeks was there and they were kind of giving some direction to these kids. And they're like, you take care of this, you take care of that, you take care of this. And meanwhile, I was doing paperwork in my office and looking out my door and I'm seeing all of these amazing teenagers doing their thing. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. If I had 15 kids, I could do anything. I can do anything. We could build a playground. We could clean an entire house for someone or clean up a yard. I was just having all these ideas go through my mind of what having a crew like that could get accomplished. And it's been really wonderful having the kids that have been working for me at Robeks. They're always eager to learn and to do and to meet people. So it's been a really lovely experience since opening. It really has.
Yeah, I think that's probably also a testament to the 5 children that you have of your own. Just, I'm sure all of the teamwork it took as a blended family on top of that to find the synergy and the teamwork and the effort into getting through the days and really coming together for a common purpose. And I'm really curious to know, going back to when you went into Robeks and you were greeted with this hummingbird. Tell us a little bit about what the meaning of the hummingbird is and how that impacted you and sort of your inspiration to know that this was something that you wanted to pursue.
So the hummingbird always is seeking out the ripest, most delicious fruits. And they actually I believe they see 16 more colors than we do. They see this huge array of colors that we don't even see. And the hummingbird's name is Harmony. She's a beautiful little bird. And once she's in your head, you just can't get her out of your mind. And I love that she's our mascot. And it's easy to put your logo on anything when it's a pretty little bird like that.
Right. So when you felt this connection to the hummingbird, to harmony, I mean, how could you not even like the word harmony?
Sure.
So taking it back a little bit, Robeks was founded in 1996 in Southern California. Is that right?
Yeah.
And as I was reading more about Robeks, it's almost like this humble, we don't want to talk a lot about us. We just want to nourish you with what has inspired us through this smoothie obsession, right? And really being ahead of the time in the way of presenting this certain healthy dose of vitamins and superfoods. What grabbed your attention? I know that you talk about being a foodie and in the kitchen a lot. Have you always had this excitement for food? And you said you bake cheesecakes but as far as the health and wellness piece, how has that inserted itself into your life as a value of putting good things into your body?
Yeah. So I haven't talked about my mother yet. And
okay,
that's kind of where that comes in. So my mom is like this, she's a little eccentric. And when I was having dinner as a kid, it was something weird and different than anybody else was eating. I was having escargot or crab legs or lobster, whatever she could get her hands on. Duck. We had duck. We'll never forget my first time having duck, which it's very impressive to me how well they cooked together and feeding us kids the different palette of food. And we always had to try it. We didn't have to eat it all, but we had to try whatever was put in front of us. And 99% of the time, I think I loved everything that I tried. I've been a very adventurous eater because of that, because I was exposed to so much stuff young. I didn't have the filtered, I guess, mindset of having an option. if you're hungry, you'll
Right.
eat, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
So I never cooked 2 meals for my kids. What we ate, they ate. I tried to do things that they would love at the same time, but I would also put onions and bell peppers in a emulsifier so that they didn't know that that's what they were eating because a couple of them hated the onions or the bell peppers, but they loved the flavor. They had no idea. So it was a little mom trick there. And
Yeah. Finding innovative ways to hide all of the nutrients and still make it tasty for 5 children.
yeah, exposing them to the flavor palette without them realizing that they're actually having that.
Yeah. Which is another reason I love Robeks, because I feel like some of those things on their own may not be as tasty as they are. However, they're made into these delicious smoothies and bowls. So, okay. All right. I'm with you. Carry on.
The other day, actually, his dad was walking out the door and he turned around and he said, "It's a kale," you know,
Right.
it's a tropicale or age buster. And the kids are having probiotics and all of these fibrous vegetables and
Yeah.
they don't care or realize it. They're just, it tastes so good. They love it. So yeah, it's been fun. But yes, I have always been a huge food explorer. My favorite part of any travel is finding the most local thing that I can find
Uh,
and subjecting myself to it, even if it's terrifying. And
That's adventurous.
it is. It is. Yeah. So aerobics is not hard on that scale. It is very easy. I'm also
It is.
lactose intolerant. So I have to take
Yeah.
lactate if I'm going to have anything with dairy in it. And I had the raspberry romance that day. And the raspberry romance has dairy. It has a non-fat frozen yogurt, a sherbet, raspberry sherbet. And it didn't hurt me at all. It didn't bother me one bit. And so I I just love everything on our menu. We have a dairy-free menu that is incredibly great. I mean, we can make any of our classic smoothies dairy-free. So
Mhm.
we have grandparents come in with their grandchildren and they're like 5 or 6 and like, well, they can't have pineapple and they can't have dairy. We have a special blender for people who have a peanut allergy that doesn't ever go in the same dishwater as any other blender. It doesn't ever get subjected to that peanut. And I just love how buildable things are there. You can change things
Yes.
to
It's so
suit.
customizable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of
Yeah.
options for gluten free, dairy free.
Tell me a little bit about that. I'm really curious to know. So, for instance, when you have these kids coming in and making the smoothies, because I'm really curious how do I do this at home, right? How do I make this at home? And it never tastes the same, by the way.
Yeah.
But how are you, I guess, educating and training yourself and the employees to ensure that they know why they're doing certain things they have to do for the safety of the customer, if there's allergy or sensitivity, something like that. I'd love for our listeners to just build more awareness around what it takes to really understand what it is you're serving to the customer and how clean it is.
Yeah. Wait, there's actually quite a bit of training that goes on
Yeah.
when it's food. We're cutting, we're using knives, we have cutting gloves so that people don't, chop their little fingers off and but you're training kids, you're training them how to wash vegetables. We're training them that celery is grown in the dirt and you have to take care of it and get all of the dirt off and how to take care of kale, which is the same. Kale grows right from the ground. It has quite a bit of dirt in it, so have to be very cautious. Our fruits are quick frozen and they're super fresh and bright all the time. I'm never going to get anything that is even remotely wilted. It's all very fresh. And that's the training. The training is to watch out for those things. Food has an expiration, and it's really a really short window. So we keep our everything fresh. I have produce delivery every day.
That was going to be my next question is what is the cadence in when you're getting all these fruits and vegetables every day?
I can get produce every day. Right now we're having wheatgrass brought in. We have had this surge of wheatgrass orders. I mean, wheatgrass
Really?
is something that's on my menu that doesn't make any money for myself, but it is a draw because of its health benefits. And people who know wheatgrass, they're excited to get it. So I have increased.
What's the main attraction of wheatgrass? What are some of those quick health benefits? I want to say my girlfriend got the wheatgrass shot when we came in, and I'm thinking, girl, wheatgrass? But she's absolutely very attached to health and wellness and always making good choices out there. So It didn't surprise me.
What fresh cut grass smells like, that's what wheatgrass tastes like.
Okay.
Actually, it's way more sweet than you would ever imagine. And we have some customers that add fresh pressed lemon juice to their wheatgrass, and it cuts down on some of that. And it's really delicious that way, actually. The wheatgrass fuels your blood with oxygen. So 1 2-ounce shot of wheatgrass is like having 2.5 pounds of vegetables.
Oh my gosh.
2 or 3 ounces is where you want to be. You don't want to have too much wheatgrass because it can upset your belly and get things moving down there a little quicker than you might want. But when it's used properly and 2 or 3 ounces, it is just really great for our bodies. It's an anti-inflammatory and the health benefits are just wonderful. It oxygenates our blood. So it just really immediately will make you feel really good. The other great thing about the wheatgrass.
Okay, now I want some wheatgrass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fast.
You get used to it, though. That's the thing. Like you have it once, you're like, oh, great. But I have had all of my kids have tried the wheatgrass. They've tried every single thing in the store. So they have to have the wheatgrass shot. They have to have the turmeric shot. They have to have the lemon ginger shot. And they all make this face and they're like, you ready to take a sip of it? And then they are like, oh, that wasn't that bad because it's sweet and it just tastes like grass. It's kind of hard to find. It takes a while to press. When someone orders wheatgrass, it takes a few minutes, time consuming for our employees to make it, but it's totally worth it.
I love when I come in, you can see everything being made right in front of you. The fruit's getting cut, the smoothies are getting made right in front of you. And so, everything's so fresh, which is so refreshing.
Yeah.
I have kind of a burning question right now. So, as far as educating the community on what it is that you offer, how are you involved there and how are you educating the community about who you are and what you do and what your offerings are? And because there's so much rich information here. I mean, just looking through your website, I think it's really exciting. And it was a much needed add to our community. I certainly just want to spread the word all over the place. So, and another impressive thing that Rebecca had told me while we were at the health and wellness event is when she does make extra smoothies and have things left over, she will take it to our service men and women. If you could add on that also and sort of your tie into the community, I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay. That's actually been the hardest part. Nobody knows what Robeks is. And my site says Robeks Juice. And that's great because we are definitely juice, but we're so much more than that. We have hand-rolled sourdough bread and fresh cut avocado toast and strawberry cream cheese toast and fig and prosciutto toast. And then all of these glorious bowls, these acai bowls.
The bowls.
Yeah.
The nutty, what is it? The nutty acai. Right. That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I actually have a watermelon bowl right now.
Ooh.
Not even on my menu, but it's a retired recipe. And we have watermelon right now because we have a limited time offer watermelon smoothie. So we have some people asking, people come in and they know Robeks because they've been there's a Robeks in Connecticut and there's 11 Robeks up in near the Akron area,
Oh, okay.
California, and one in Florida, but I'm the only one here. So people come in and they're like, "This is so exciting. I love Robeks. I can't believe it. It's been this many years since I've been there, and I'm so excited that you're here." And they know the retired venue. So sometimes they teach me, they're like, "Oh, green tea sensation," and which tastes like butterscotch, by the way, if you like butterscotch.
Yeah.
Yeah, matcha that tastes like butterscotch. Kind of doesn't make it. Totally does. This watermelon bowl is insanely good. It is delicious. It's an acai watermelon bowl.
Okay.
Really wonderful. We also have an almond delight bowl, which is not acai. And that's my husband's favorite. So yeah, that's like the hardest part. Everyone doesn't know what Robeks is. It's not like I opened a Starbucks, right? Getting out in the community has been really important for me. And what I've tried to do is take samples or smoothies out to hospitals or police stations or fire departments and just kind of get people talking about it. I love to bless people with a delicious, healthy, cold smoothie on a hot day. And when someone tells me that their child is ill, I take them a bowl because sore throats don't want French fries and cheeseburgers,
Right.
a cold acai bowl. And I have had only positive feedback from every sample I have ever given. So that's rare, right? Where are you going to find constant positive feedback? People love the freebies. They love the smoothies. Every single smoothie sample I've given away has been a positive experience. So yeah, I like to, if I see somebody out, sometimes I run over to the gas station and I just hand out small smoothies. And to people who are driving big work trucks, I know that they're working hard and they're hot, and also know that they're going somewhere for food, and they don't know to come to Robeks because it is a full meal replacement menu. It is an absolute, it's not, I think that it's being seen a little bit as a treat to our general community, and it can be that. It's absolutely a better option for a treat than probably anywhere else. But it's not only that. It's meal replacement. I have a customer who is doing a 30-day Robeks plan, and she is just crushing it. She came in, she said she was on day 13 and she had lost 13 pounds. And because she's just doing Robeks. So that's another success story that some of our Robeks owners have. They have gone on their own personal weight loss journey with Robeks and documented that. And that's probably something you can find in the Arizona news. But yeah, you're not suffering. It's wonderful. It's filling. The 800-pound gorilla has 820 some calories. I mean, that is a big meal. The other smoothies have in the hundreds and calories, but the nutrients that you're getting from having, kale, spinach, carrots, the nutrients that you're getting from that is filling your body so that you don't need more food. You're not hungry.
It is filling.
It's just very fulfilling.
100%. When I come in and I get the bowl, I'm good and I feel so nourished. It's true, the importance of what you're putting in your body and how that makes you feel through your day and your energy levels and your confidence and your motivation, your internal motivation to want to continue to eat cleaner and better. And I always have this pull to want to eat cleaner. But again, it's all about how do I make this simple for myself? I don't like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I don't like to buy a lot of ingredients. And it's everything's so simple here. And it's so delicious. I have to say, another sidebar here. As you're going through some of the experiences that you're having with customers and then also potential customers, I have to let you know of some ideas that I'm having that I just wrote down, which is this 30-day plan for Robeks that a customer was like, oh, I've lost, did you say 13 pounds? 10 pounds. That's incredible. So I don't know how we could like tap into what that looks like for our community in some way on a weight loss journey. But then also the servicemen and women that you're serving, building awareness there, which of course you're trying to do, but also getting into schools and educating our kids on healthy foods and options and choices and educating them on how to fuel their bodies properly. And I have another one here. Darn it. Oh, the pregnancy one that we mentioned. Gosh, how exciting would that be too, is to tap into that world of these mom groups and giving them something to look forward to and how they're staying healthy and yeah, energized through the pregnancy. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest because I'm just really excited about Robeks and I wanted to spread the word. And I think that you're doing amazing things. And I think that you're part of something really, really big. And just the whole experience is really positive. What I want to make a quick right turn on is your ability, Rebecca, to say yes to life. And what I mean by that is to take risk, to really lean in on what you're being inspired by. Because obviously on this podcast, we really like to hit on how are you living a consciously inspired life? What does that mean to you? And how are you kind of moving past the fear and being unattached to the outcome and really just kind of trusting yourself is really the essence here, right? How are you saying yes to life? What inspires and motivates you to say yes to life and follow your intuition?
Yeah. So just kind of jumping off a cliff is what it kind of feels like sometimes. I am not the spotlight person. My husband is.
Okay.
Part of the reason I fell in love with him was because he was so outgoing and he was available for everyone to participate in any kind of activity or conversation with. And I was, I don't know if you read the Bible, but there's Mary and Martha, and I've always been like, I'm Martha. I am sweeping the floors.
Okay, I have not read the Bible, but I want to hear all about it. Yeah.
Cleaning, there's a story about how she's like, what the heck? Mary's just sitting over there doing nothing and listening to you, and I'm cleaning for everybody and getting everything done. I've always been the worker bee behind the scenes. I guess I didn't even consider the amount of face to face that I was actually going to have with our community by opening this business. And it really has come naturally to me. So I love people. I love hearts and stories and adventure and journeys and to see the beginning and then the rise to the top of all sorts of people. And so it has come pretty natural as I'm doing it, but it was actually like jumping off of a cliff. And I have said to my employees many times, this is not my personality. This is not me. This is so abnormal for me to be standing at this women's function and providing all these women with smoothies and running around and laughing and talking. And sure, with my friends or my family, I can be open like that. But in a group of strangers, it's been wild. It has made my community very small. So it went from this massive world out there to seeing everyone personally. The people who drive past me on the road now, they wave to me sometimes because they recognize, or when I'm in, Whole Foods or whatever, they're like, oh, hey, there's Rebecca. Oh, here's the lady that gave me the smoothie today. So it's fun. It's really fun. I've just really been blessed to have a look inside of so many different hearts, and I love it so much. Before I forget, I want to add that I do offer 20% off for all police, fire, any city
Oh,
official.
amazing.
Yeah, they're always 20% off. They'll be that way
great.
forever. I partner with several
Wow.
places. We're doing an event at the Alzheimer's Walk on September 16th.
I'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to send me that information, I'll make sure we get that in there as well. What's the date on that again, Rebecca? September
16th.
16th. Okay. What have you learned about yourself since Robeks has come into your life?
First of all, I have learned that I can get up before 6 a.m.
I love it.
You can do it.
We're once a morning person, I would take it, yes?
I would love to get up after 7. And that would be a dream come true, but it doesn't even happen anymore. I'm up. It's happening. I'm up. So I have another half of a day because I feel like if you get up before 6, there's a half a day there.
100%.
So
yes.
So that,
I'm up at 5 a.m. every day, so I get that.
You understand. People come around at 9 or 10 and you're like, man, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's what it feels like.
Half the day's gone. What are you doing? Get it together. Let's start moving.
Yeah. And I think that I've learned to not stress, not let the small things just devour me. I try not to worry about really anything. Things come and you just work through them. You have to, when you have a restaurant, you have to work through a crisis very quickly. So if something is missing, you're out of bananas, you figure out how you're going to get bananas in there. Somebody doesn't show up, which has only happened to me 2 times. I've been open since December and I've only had 2 different occasions where someone was late. And I think that's fantastic. I have such a great crew.
That's
problem
amazing.
solving, not to let it destroy your day. Just get through it and keep going, step on top of it, go to the next level.
What advice would you give someone who really wants to sharpen their skill at finding solutions? Like coming from a solution-based mindset versus why is this happening to me again? Or kind of like this victim sort of mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like, here we are again. I'm up against this struggle. I'm up against this challenge. I'm up against. How do you talk yourself through those stressful situations that gets you on the other side of, nope, you know what? I'm going to find some levity here, or whatever the case may be, to get me to the solution. I'm not focused on the problem. I'm focused on the solution. What would you say to that person?
Yeah. So first of all, your perspective. So seeing it through someone else's eyes, we have our own ideas and I can get very stuck in the way I see it. I know how to work stuff out and I can go down this path. But the truth is there's probably 20 or 30 ways down the path and your idea might need some tweaking. So to look at something from the perspective of the other side, the other person, what this customer needs from me, not what I am programmed to give, right? But what they need in that moment. Just taking a second to look at their soul and say, oh, I need to just relax for a second, listen to what they're saying to me, just listening. So also, I've learned that when you open things up to other people, I have adults and teenagers work for me. And I love to get their ideas. What do you see about this process that would make it easier for you? Or how do you see this being scheduled differently? And what works for you? And instead of me just trying to power through something, which I can totally do, moms load the dishwasher and then someone else comes in and loads it. And we're like, what the heck? We have to totally reload the dishwasher. I'm sure you've heard that analogy before. And we have to be able to accept help.
Yes.
Accept it.
I just wrote that down.
Yeah.
Ask for the support. Just ask for what you need, ladies and gentlemen. Just ask. Yes.
So if you remember when I was telling you about that revelation, when I saw these kids working and and they were getting things done so quickly. That's part of it. I saw out my door that day something that will never leave me. And I am, like I said, a very hard worker. I If I say, "Hey, would you take this garbage out?" and it's not done in the next 3.5 seconds, I'm taking the garbage out.
Right.
The garbage
Right.
has to go out, right? So
Right.
when you're able to ask for what you need and trust that they're going to fulfill that need, then it makes it way easier. And the way to make it happen is by being kind to the to the employees or the other person. I think when you communicate, look, I am stressed to 12th level. I need a little bit of support right now. So here's a list written down of things that have to get done. Could you take 3 things? What 3 things would you like to take on this list? And if 2 things get done, you've won, right? So that's another thing that I learned from a woman who is in the real estate business. She said, this drove me crazy when I first heard it. It sounds nuts. But
You've got me curious.
write this list and then expect to get 30% of your list done. If 30% of your list is complete, you have success.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next day, start the listing.
Okay. I like that. I can pick that up.
You don't have to do everything all at once.
Right. When you talk about connecting with your customers and even your employees, where did you learn the sense of compassion for other people and really wanting to meet them where they are and really wanting to gain clarity and how you can find, I guess, that synergy with other people and come to those beautiful solutions, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time as a child observing and watching the adults in my life and not really getting involved, just watching. And I think that when we have this desire to be heard, that it makes it easier for us to hear. So I still have that going on. I watch my customers for what they need. I think it's the same thing. And I'm not talking about people pleasing either. That's a totally different thing. Of course, we all want everybody to be happy, I think, but people pleasing is also, that's a completely different thing. Finding out what people actually need by hearing them is way different than people pleasing. People pleasing is you're trying to do what you think is going to make them happy and not necessarily listening to their needs. Yeah, I would say that a lot of that probably came from my dad. He was a gentle leader. He really was.
A gentle leader. I love that. That was going to be my next question. So I think this is a beautiful segue is how do you define your leadership? What type of leader are you? And what does leadership mean to you? Because and I think that there's this, I think when we say leadership, a lot of folks just think of running a business or being a CEO or in some high power position. And that's so not the case. We're leaders every single day, right? We're leaders in our kids' lives. We're leaders in our marriages. We're leaders in the workplace and all aspects of life. We're leaders in our community. And so, yeah, I just wanted to add that because I think that there can be a misconception or we're not giving ourselves enough credit for the leadership that we're modeling in life. So yeah, I'll hand it back over to you, Rebecca.
Yeah, that's actually just it, modeling. So I'm a teacher and I've taught people for a long time. I was involved with safety training when I worked for a mechanical contractor for like 13 years. And so everybody learns a little differently and you can have those conversations with people quickly figuring out what it is that they need to do to learn. Some people will have to watch you do it. They want to see you do it 2 or 3 times. other people need to do it themselves. And so you do it while they're watching or maybe with them at the same time. Take your knife, hold it like this, put your fingers like that, and so to me, leadership has always been action and being able to, I know that the words I speak are the words that my children are going to speak. If I'm speaking negativity, they're going to become negative. And if I'm speaking kindness and I'm breathing life into people with my words, that's what my children are going to
Mm.
do. They might not do it in my home.
Well, none of our children do it within the
Right.
home because they're way too comfortable in the home. Anything goes here.
Right.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
That's their practicing field is in the home.
Right. Which is good too.
Safe space. But
That's
when you
right.
hear that your children are this, they're so respectful and that they're so helpful
Yeah.
that they've been actually listening to you. It's a beautiful thing. So with the employees at Robeks, I try to be the leader that will jump in and be wherever they need me. If they need help with anything, if a customer is not happy with them, they're very comfortable with coming to me. No one is afraid to say, hey, I just really messed this.
Sure. Right. Approachability is everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We go for no waste. We're trying to constantly have no waste. I can't stand wasting food. They know that about me and they don't want to waste. And I know that they don't want to waste. And it happens sometimes. So I tell the kids, hey, you know what? I poured this apple juice everywhere today. I have it down my legs, it's in my shoes because accidents happen. They get they get upset when they make a mistake because they don't want to displease you. But being able to say accidents happen to all of us. I make mistakes too. We just learn from it and then we go on and we do it differently maybe the next time, and it's been very effective. Like I said, I don't think that they're afraid to come to me because they do come to me. They
Yeah.
call me if I'm not there, and I love that. Communication is really great.
Absolutely. Being open minded, having clear expectations, and no one's trying to guess what's supposed to be happening at any given time, especially when you're trying to run a business and provide a certain experience and building that trust and camaraderie, I think. And just from hearing you even tell the story around looking at this group of 15 kids all working together on a single mission, all working together for a similar purpose, like a purpose, giving these kids purpose and teaching them things they didn't know before they walked through the doors of Rebec.
That's right.
Things that they will take with them for the rest of their lives.
That's right. I've had several young men and women and come in and learn knife skills and cleaning, just cleaning. You're sweeping and you're mopping. You're going out in the front and you're cleaning off all the tables and you're sanitizing things constantly. And so I've had parents come in and they're like, this is so great. They're in the kitchen now. So these kids who have been at school and on their phones and hanging out with their friends, they're getting involved in their kitchen at home. It's wonderful. It will go with them forever. They'll keep this knowledge forever. I also keep that really close to myself, that a lot of times I'm their first job and it's not perfect. There's going to be an employee here and there that doesn't like to be told no, or that what they're doing is not proper. And it's a kitchen. And so things have to be done properly for safety reasons. And so, you're going to have that. But for the most part, I know that they're going to move on with their life and they're going to have job two, or they're going to go to college and they're going to have the career. And I really love that they're going to be like, this is my first job was Robeks and I had this super awesome boss named Rebecca. She was so nice. I want them to think that about me. I'm also pretty strict and they respect me for that. that, like I said, the no waste thing, and we have stations, and there are absolutely ways to do things there. It's not, oh, he figured out a better way to do it. We do have conversations about things, but some things they're done a certain way, and that's the way they're done, right?
Mhm.
Because it's food, and they respect that.
All of us need some sort of structure,
Yes.
right? We always need some sort of structure, some sort of guidance. Yeah. And we need that positive influence, that modeling of trust, really, and building those listening skills and building just those life skills of knowing that we don't always have to have the right answer. We don't always have to be right, but we're all working toward a common goal here. And this is why, and this is what makes us successful, right?
Yes. Yes.
What is the impact you want to have in the world, Rebecca?
Our time is super short here. We we get to only spend a matter of moments in the lives of the people that we love and adventure with people that we have never met before. And I I want I just want to be a positive impact on the way people feel. I want to give people a good feeling, not that I've done this for them or done that for them, but that they feel warm and happy when they talk about me or our relationship. So it really does come back to immediate relationships for me. I might not be a world changer. I love to, my husband and I love to do construction projects wherever we go. If we see, our dream is actually to travel and repair things along the way. So if
Wow.
someone has a roof that's caving in or a bathroom that's caving in or something, to be able to go into the homes and make these repairs for people. And Robeks was initially the way to that. We were paving the road to freedom so that we can serve others. And I always want to be willing and able to serve people who need help in some kind of way, emotionally or with their home or whatever it is. But I mean, I guess that's a harder question than I haven't really thought about that question so much. I just go on day to day. But to be remembered by folks in a way that encourages them to be kind to other people would be ideal.
And this ability to travel and be of service along the way. It's funny when we have these bigger dreams in front of us that we're trying to get to, how the universe can deliver on what we believe about ourselves and who we are and what we be every day. And from my point of view, you're living in service already every single day, of course, serving our community and helping people, mind, body, soul through Robeks, right?
Yeah.
And so this service-based mentality is already who you are. It's already who you are. And to be able to have had the opportunity to connect with you, Rebecca, and I'm so excited to see where this journey is going to continue to take you and the lives you're going to change along the way through your travel, through your impact in our community. I just want to personally thank you for showing up for us and our community, for our kids, for the people that you employ. I'm immensely grateful for you. My last question, what does it mean to you to live a consciously inspired life?
To have positive interactions with other people. I don't
Yeah.
I think that we all have bad days, and there are days when we get cut off in traffic and we want to be upset about it. But truthfully, to be able to let all of those things go all of the time, to be able to just be kind to everyone, because if we're having a bad day, that guy's having a bad day too, probably, And it's not going to get better by us bad daying each other. So
Right.
to consciously inspired, to me is kindness.
Mm.
Yeah, we can go so far
Beautiful.
by being kind to other people. You have no idea where that road will lead. No idea.
Mm. It does really all come back to where we came from, which is love. And returning to the love, to the compassion, to the peace, to the service. Like that's what it is.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I agree.
it's been such a pleasure to have you on today. And I may or may not stop by this afternoon for that watermelon bowl.
Yes.
Well, they know what I'm talking about. Okay, I know it's not on the menu anymore.
They sure will. You better get it before it's gone.
Good. I know,
It'll be
exactly.
over.
Well, I know, it sure will. It sure will. Rebecca, thank you again. It's been such a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to seeing you out in the community and whatever I can do to support you, Robeks. I am 100% here for it. So again, thank you for showing up for us and for everything that you're doing in our community.
You know, that's a perfect example. Just meeting you, I would have never in a million years thought that I would be on a podcast. And, you know, just having those conversations with you, look where it led. And I'm totally grateful for you and pulling this out of me. And it's taken me to a whole nother level of being able to open up about my own things and what's going on with Robeks. So I am very appreciative to you for your time, and I love your podcast. So thank you so much for including me.
Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate that so very much. So very much. All right, everybody. Until next time. Bye-bye.
That's all for today. Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you'd like to learn more about Consciously Inspired Minds, you can visit us at consciouslyinspiredminds.com. Until we connect again, explore what inspires you.